Namrata, and she told me the whole story, like how this everything, and also about the toxic evolution, how the artificial colors, plastics are affecting our environment. So from there, like, okay, this is something for a cause we are doing, so let's do this. And from there, like, we here for this open mic and for the team called Toxic Evolution. And yeah, let's. This is what AEM and this is what about the open mic.
And that's how we are, isn't it? In different shapes and sizes and different mindsets. But here we are together at one place to do something like an open mic. I think it's great because an event like this really brings everybody together on one platform. And I'm really happy to be here. I'm Namrata from Color Ashram Foundation. We started in 2019, but the background of this work is 20 years old. So my co-founder and my partner connected to the water of Ahmedabad. Tackling the waste of textile industries for a long time. He said that if I do not let these industries throw the waste out and make some product out of it, maybe it will stop the pollution somewhere. And then both of us found that, to connect to people, just telling that this is a natural dyed fabric, buy it, it doesn't work like that. I think because we don't see natural dyeing around at all, we don't have a physical memory, a feeling of it, it's just a statistic. Like we have statistics that someone bombed someplace and somebody died. What is it to us? It's nothing, I think, it's just a piece of news. So I thought I want to have some engagement with people. And so I thought of doing workshops, and so I invited him and I started arranging workshops with people to dye themselves and to see the process. That's how he thought that, okay, this is what is missing in the work, because we are just saying this jargon but it's not connecting to people. Let's do more of this. So I kind of put my fashion thing on the back burner. Anyway, I was doing it in a very, very horizontal way, just collaborating with different kinds of artists to create clothes, not doing a vertical collection anytime. So we started Color Ashram together in Goa. He was in Ahmedabad, I was in Kolkata. We both came to Goa because Goa was a neutral place and a place which doesn't have this fast life of a city. I don't think I would have done it in Ahmedabad or Kolkata. It's like, so in Goa, both of us came down, we set this up and we worked for 2 years there. We had a lot of workshops, different people from different countries would come. It was really amazing because Goa is such a melting pot. And people would love to come to Goa because like vacation, come a workshop. So learn natural dyeing in the evening, go have beer and party on the beach and stuff. So this was it. Then COVID happened and it was not sustainable to be in Goa. So we came back to Ahmedabad, and in his factory, the setup where he is, it's a green patch of land. In his factory you'll find so much of green which is left untouched. So we set up our Color Ashram Foundation base there, and now it's a proper training center where anybody can come if they want to paint, dye, print, do anything with color on clothes, fabrics or wood, pottery and paper. So there are many things we work on. It is for anyone who wants to just do it like a sabbatical and a hobby, or for a professional person who wants to take it to the industry. We can take up challenge of anyone who does 1 meter to 1,000 to lakhs of meters. Everybody, we have a solution for everyone. But, where are we getting stuck? What is challenging is the mindset change. The mindset change is something which is so intangible that we are not able to even transfer or have some solution for it. It has to be, talking, conversations, and going to the root of it, going to the real root of why we would even want to do this. Because I personally find that if the root of why would you like to do this is not clear and strong, nobody will be able to walk this path, because it is the whole textile industry against this very, very few handicraft or natural dyes who are working with natural dyes. And life has become so easy apparently. So it is not easy to continue natural dyeing at all with so much of, you need to be mindful if you're going to do natural dyeing. Even though you can do it on machines, still you need to be mindful about the pH of the water, about the temperature change, about this and that, because natural colors are very alive. They respond to the elements of nature, water, air, soil, everything, and your contamination and many other things. It's a very sensitive color. So you plan something and then something else happens, and then either you do correct it or you work with it. It's like that. We don't have any design schools in the world right now who train people to have this flexible mindset, to incorporate the imperfection and the unexpectedness of colors which come in fabrics. All the people that I've met from different countries who love natural dyeing, but their mindset is so fixed on a particular shade that they want that they cannot work with it. Because every designer is fixed that, I want this particular shade and I will not budge from here. That's not going to happen if you're going to work with natural colors. At least you need to be very open. So yeah, we have a long way to go to change the mindset and work with people. But being an artist myself and having done theatre and all kinds of arts, I grew up with classical dance music and painting. I feel like arts is the medium to reach people, to talk to people, and reach to the heart, which needs to understand. The mind will follow. So here I am with this, and I'm very grateful to Shri Kumar to host this thing here, and I hope to have many more across South India. And I want to see what you guys feel about toxic evolution. So because so I had this intern from NIFT. She was really an artist who went to the college, and teachers told her, "You're an artist. What are you doing here? This is a design college. There's no place for an artist here." And she's a fine artist. She just stuck around, and then she got a chance to do internship with me. So we do have interns who come and stay with us for 2 months, 4 months. She was there for 4 months, and she created these beautiful pieces. You must take a chance. In fact, I'll give you a chance to go around and look carefully. These are all paintings done on fabrics and jackets which are with natural dyes, and they're all hand painted. Like not even a block or something is used. Especially on that jacket, you can see the back of it. Like most people confuse this with block print, but this is actually hand painted. And so she loved working at our space because she had colors, art, and these meditative space where she could do anything she wanted to. So we kind of came up with the topic together, but she dug into it and she took out why, and it's all her creation she's made. And I thought that take this forward and involve all of you to say the story further, interpret it, imagine, and express in the way you want to. I'd just like to read the lines she wrote for this collection. This is a really lovely color. Yeah.
So a little bit background of me. I work as a data analyst who pays for my rent, food, and everything. But obviously that's not enough, and you need a space where you would express your creative self as well. I've been writing poetry since since 6th grade. Obviously it started with the plays. It was all like rhymes only. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Not that bad, but okay. Almost close to that. And I found my passion. It's something that where I can be my true self and where I can be raw and unadulterated. So that's how I began. Today I'm going to be your host. I got to list something. So one thing that I found really beautiful, with how this whole thing started, is her story. It was beautiful to listen to, and the very fact that she had an epiphany and she was able to let it out as tears here shows what a beautiful safe space that open mics provide, where there is no judgment, there is no filter. You can just be who you are here, and thank you for finding that strength to share that with us here today. Thank you so much. And thank you for this beautiful collaboration, and the very fact that it's a cozy crowd here makes it even more powerful, that the voice of whatever we want to be conveying here today is going to be even more effective, that the call to action is going to be even louder here. So thank you all for being here today. So I received introduction. We have a good lineup today, and I received introduction only from 2 people. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing random things. I'm going to create them up, and it's up to you whether you want to fix it or not. But I'm going to be manufacturing random facts anyway. So, for the first person, I feel that rather than me bullying them onto the stage here, is if there is someone who wants to go first, you can. Or I'll bully you. It's your call.
I'm audible, right? So I want all of you to imagine we are in a courtroom, okay? So I'm in the witness stand and she is presenting the case against me. Okay? So the poem is titled Coward, you know, because I don't own up to my mistakes and she's presenting the case. Yeah. There must be a cow somewhere, and there is I. I'll never know her, but she's a victim of my crime. If she were to stand in front of the jury and call out my name, I'd raise my hand and surrender, but there's no evidence for blame. She's ready for the counter and lists out her case. She says her argument in champion lies in the way I live my days. And for the fallen, she's not the only one. There are plenty of suffering for what I have done. She says the water she drinks is grey, like my character. The water I drink is clear, but why is her water stained with lather? She says her body is home to all the things I've ever owned. That was all the food she was ever allowed. The grass was greener in the picture book she devoured. What story will she tell her children? That her sister was a leather patch on my new pair of denims? The sky is her roof because her body is beyond use. She can no longer see the stars because I've ravaged the sky with acid scars. The fumes from my paints and the smoke from my plane descend on her like a suffocating wave. She prays that God see her through the haze and take away the pain. She asks me, why did you make me a god when ultimately you take everything away? She says her carcass will remember me better than my search history. Her body is a record of my Swiggy orders and Amazon delivery. She says, check the story of a toothbrush in the face of a turtle. She says it might be mine, but I'll never be doing time. All of this is a power struggle. She says my crime occurs 365 into 24/7. My sin doesn't make prime time, but has the potential of a Chernobyl. She says the dark doesn't scare me, the blurred grey ones do. Tangle innocence with the wrong and leave me out of groove. I rest my case, my lord. Your evidence is my body, it has it all. Pray, take away all the plastic within me. Leave my baby. But if he doesn't look like me, take him away and spare me the malady. I look at the cow and spell out my apologies. My helplessness is her wound, and my desire her catastrophe. My course of action is taming the greed, while my crimes may continue, God-giving, they may not be so ghastly. The judge is given sounds, and the decision is out. While I may be free, I'll bear the conscience of my deeds. I step away and realize God damned me. While He gave me the gift of manifestation, He also gave me the gift of destruction. The cancer of our gluttony has become the cancer of our body. I just want to share it with people. And I talked to my dad, and like, give me some inspiration. He's my sounding board. Just make sure that I don't say anything politically incorrect. And I say, so he's like, it's easy to bash humankind for what all the mistakes that we've done, but poetry, true poetry, comes when you speak your truth. So look at where you are harming the environment. So I thought, let me look at my daily activities, and I saw that I am consuming a lot from this planet, and I also admit that I'm arrogant. Like, yeah, I'm saving the planet. I'm different from most people. So that he said, becoming aware of that is very important. It's not cool to be saving the planet. You are part of it. You must respect these boundaries. So this poem came out of the fact where I want to show the horrors of the small things that we do, from the toothpaste that we use, the toothbrush, the things we order online. They all may seem benign, but they have huge ramifications, huge mistakes. So I want to show that the grey area actually causes more harm than the actual bad guys.
Thinking of reciting a poem, but then I realized that the theme is toxic evolution, and there's a story that I want to share with everyone today about what toxic evolution means to me or how I look at it. And actually, this is no ordinary story. I would consider the story that I'm about to share today as the greatest story ever told. I know that's a pretty tall claim, but I guarantee you guys that by the end of this, you'll agree with me that yeah, the story that I have to share is the greatest story ever. So, what is the story? Well, our story is about a man, hero. Of course, the story needs a hero. So, what is this man called? Let's call him Manish. But Manish does not really sound heroic. It doesn't have a nice ring to it. So let's call our guy Arjun. Arjun has a nice ring to it. It has a sense of virtue to it. So we have a hero, and his name is Arjun. You know what? I'm a sucker for science fiction, so I want to place the story in the future, or in a year 2072. So 50 years from now, 2072. Once upon a time, there was a guy named Arjun. In 2072, has a nice ring to it. But if it's once upon a time, how can it be 2072? That's the future. You know what? I also like parallel universe, so let this guy Arjun be in a parallel universe where 2072 is actually 50 years in the past. So once upon a time, there was an Arjun in 2072, and what is his story? Well, actually, this story is timeless. Time doesn't matter. It's a timeless classic, I would say. In fact, the story that I'm about to share is a story that you already know. The story that I want to tell right now is a story that all of you already know. So, what is that story? Actually, I can guarantee that you've heard this story before. In fact, this is a story that has been translated into 1,000 different languages. And the last version that I remember was, 180 languages the story existed in. And now there are new versions coming out. Now I'm just making things up, right? Well, okay, here's what I'm going to do. My claim still sticks. It's the greatest story ever told or ever sold. So I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds to guess what I'm talking about, what is the story about, okay? And if I shared the story already, you can't guess. But yeah, if you do guess it right, there's a prize at the end of this. So here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
I like this guy.
2, 1. So here's the story. This is not the prize, this is the story. Actually, this piece of paper is the greatest story ever told. Not very long ago, thousands of years ago, when we were just hunter-gatherers, we would walk around, forage for food. So we would either be running towards prey, or trying to look for food, hunt them, or we would be running away from being eaten. So there are some things that that's where evolution comes from. So running is something that we did, thousands of years ago, and it's something that's a part of who we are. But we stopped running. We started slowing down. We started settling down. We built settlements. We domesticated animals. We built farms. We started building structures. We in fact got very efficient. We built mega structures bigger than who we are. We understood what it means to have a roof on your head, what it means to Like, we started becoming efficient in production, we started producing food, we started producing things mass scale. And all of that had started happening. And along with that, the meaning of things started evolving. But we are talking about toxic evolution. So what is the toxic evolution that happened? Well, if you're talking about the story that I talked about, that story has had a very interesting evolution. Where did it come from? Where did this concept of money come from? So once we started evolving as a civilization, we got this idea that we want to, make exchange more seamless. So we first came up with the idea of exchanging precious metals or things that were that we would use for our survival, and then that evolved into metal, and then that evolved into what did that evolve into? That evolved into So we had barter evolved into precious metals, but we realized we don't have a lot, so that evolved into something.
You want to speculate, right?
Huh?
Speculate. You wanted to.
Yeah, we start speculating, and actually, they say that money doesn't grow on tree, but it actually does. In fact, the paper on which money is printed, it grows on trees. So and soon we'll be using that paper. Trees, the oxygen that it gives us, soon we'll be using that paper to buy those, which is quite ironical. But money is not even money anymore. In fact, money has become, paper currency is actually today around 3% of money in circulation is paper, 97% is something called credit. And there is a very interesting mechanism in how money works, where if you have, imagine you have 100 rupees. In fact, you know what, like you don't have to, I don't have to say that you are actually imagining when you think you have 100 rupees. So imagine you have 100 rupees and you deposit it in the bank, and then that starts growing tenfold. How the bank starts lending it out. The 100 rupees that you have put in the bank can use to create 2000 rupees out of it. And that's how money is created, out of thin air. And because of what they do, the money that you have, that you imagine to be 100, it's losing its value. Every year, the 100 becomes a few percent down. And so on, it keeps on going. And the abstraction keeps going on. We started with barter, we went into precious metal, we went to paper, we went to credit, which is just an idea. And now we have cryptocurrency, which is abstracting it more. But the fact is that it's a story. It's a story that we all agree to. If you stopped agreeing to the story, it wouldn't exist. It doesn't have any meaning. So, actually, I want to give you guys some, investment advice today. I think so. I've done telling a story. I think so. Better than me are the storytellers at the Dalal Street and Wall Street. Like they're really good at telling stories. So I'm gonna do their job. I'm gonna give some investment advice. So I think so. It's important to invest. It is important to understand the power of compounding. It's something that we've been taught when we start becoming financially literate. But I think so. The kind of investment that we don't think about is people. I think so. It's important to invest in relationships. I think so. We understand that. I think so. We all agree to that, and we all feel things. But see, the thing is that there is a story that guides our behavior. We're talking about money. That's a story. It makes us function in a certain manner. We try to break out of path, but it has actually set a path for us, and there's a path that we're following. So I would say that following that path is easy. It might seem hard, but it's actually easy. You can do what everyone does in a well-functioning society. You need to grow up, you need to get a job, you need to settle down, do those things. But those are all set paths in the story that all of us has agreed on. If today all of us agreed that this paper has no value, it won't have any value. So I think so. What's interesting to explore is what's not defined. Um, something very funny happened. Like, I am a filmmaker, and I loved films growing up because it gave me a world that was much more interesting than one outside. And that's what I really love about films. It can make you feel things that you can't feel in a way, in a normal human manner. But I started seeing an evolution in me, in my emotions, which started bothering me. I would see that how some famous scenes of some TV series and films that I love would make me emote and would make me cry and would touch me. And I think so it's really beautiful that film can do that to me. But I also feel that somehow that also set me and my emotions on a path. But understanding normal, genuine emotions, that became much harder because there was no definition, there was no guide to how I get that. And it's much harder. It's much harder when there is no story. It's much harder when there is no path. It's much harder to understand. So I think so. We are used to growing up, especially in India. We are used to having stories with lessons. I don't think so. I want to share any lesson here. I think so. There is no meaning to things. We give meaning to things. We gave meaning to the story. We have all agreed. I think so. To think is the most human thing that we can do. Think about it. Is there any other species on this planet that can think and comprehend?
I don't know if I understand myself. I'm just me. That's it. I'm just me. So I'm a storyteller, and I started off as a poet. Understood I can't weave verse as good as poets, and then I became a storyteller because stories you can just make them up. It's the best thing. And I usually talk about stories about myself, about my life, the experiences that I've gone through. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm a very narcissistic person. I will only talk about me because that's the only thing I know about. So I was born in 1996, and Mike does not agree. So I was born in a place called Pondicherry. My mother's parents were from Pondicherry, and my dad's parents were from a very small town nearby Pondicherry called Bangalore. And I was brought up in Chennai. So I've been along the coast all my life. I've seen the sea, I've seen the beach. Beauty has been around me all the time. Cut to 98, I am understanding what the world is like. Oh, this is how I walk, this is how I fall, this is how I play with my cousins, and all of that. And once you are at that age of, I don't know, probably 2, 3, 4, your parents start giving you small chores to do at your house. Okay? So my chore was to go to this, carvapilla tree. I don't know, what do you call it? Curry leaves. Right? So my job was to go to the curry leaf tree and pick them out, pick the curry leaves out. Because in my house, we've always had a curry leaf plant. Always. We've never paid for curry leaves till date. Thankfully. Not that it is one of the costliest things in the world. But I was like, Dad, curry leaves are not costly. You get it for free. He was like, no. You'll have a plant at home. Fine, okay, you do you. So, whenever I go to my grandparents' house, my jobs would increase. My jobs would be to like pluck tomatoes, to get, to dug out onions, to dug out tomatoes, to pull out carrots and everything. To dug out potatoes, yeah, that's what I said, yeah. And to pull out carrots and everything. Okay? And whenever I'm at my grandparents' place, we've never paid for vegetables also. And we are a family of, what do I say? We are a family of 15 easily. At any point in time, you go to my grandparents' house, there will be 15 people ready to eat. And we would just have food ready and the vegetables ready just from the back garden. And the garden was a big place, which is where all the cousins, all of us would be playing. And it was a muddy place, obviously. So we'll be rolling around the mud and everything, and we would enjoy ourselves. Cut to 2003, I'm in 3rd standard, I'm in school. I do the same things in my school ground, alright? I immediately get an allergy to the mud. My doctor tells me, you cannot go near mud from today If you do, your skin is going to start burning, and there is a very good possibility that you will have future repercussions. And I was like, okay, doctor said no mud, fine, done. So I never went to the playground. I stopped playing with my cousins in the mud. So just because of me, they also couldn't play. So we had to play somewhere else and all of that. A few years passed and I started thinking about it. Like, what was the problem? Why could I not play in the mud? That was at school, but I could happily do that when I was at my grandparents' place. So again, cut to a few more years later, I'm in Delhi, one of the most polluted places I've seen. Good Lord, those people really need to put a cop on their pollution map. I could not see stars when I was in Delhi. I could not see stars. I had to get out of the city, travel some 150 to 200 kilometers just to see a star. I couldn't see the North Star, which is like basically the guiding point for every sailor in this world. So I'm in Delhi and I start dating this girl. She's a very dear friend of mine. I start dating this girl, and it's great. We get into the relationship. It's about 8 months down, and one day she asks me, just tell me 5 plastic things that are in your room. So I'm like, lace packet, my phone cover, my watch, everything. I point out 5 things, and she's like, okay, cool. Now tell me 2 things that are natural, that haven't been touched by anything. It is very organic. Tell me 2 things. I could not say even one thing. Not one thing in my room did not have plastic in it. And she told me, this is what we have come to. So again, that conversation gets over. I go on one proper spiral, thinking I've started killing the planet. and I continue with the relationship also. So few more years down, COVID starts, and I get to spend around two months with her. And I move into her place. She and I are living together now, and everything in her house is natural. Like the dish liquid is natural, the soap that she uses is natural. She has her own kadi patta plant. Alright, and she does not buy rice in your plastic bag. She takes a silver dabba, a steel dabba, and gets it from one of your big mandis. Right? The amount of energy this lady has to handle, being organic and organic is just appalling. And again, I ask myself the same 2 questions again. Okay, right now, how many plastic do I see? Obviously, since we are a couple, I see the protection there, which is plastic, and just that's it. Other than that, all I see is just the clothes, which might have the tags which are plastic, and the bed sheet, which probably has some in it, and nothing else. Everything else in her house was organic and natural, and I was like, this is a whole new universe for me, and I couldn't understand how someone could be like this. So 2 months later, I go back to my own house, and it's back to the same toxic cycle of just having plastics everywhere. But again, since it's my parents' house, alright, they still have the kadi patta plant. They still have their own way of. My grandmother till date makes her own soap. My relatives who live back in my grandparents, which is my dad and dad's mom and dad's place, they still have the garden. So my cousin was telling me, Ashwin, during COVID, I did not have to spend anything. He told me my whole salary was my savings. The only amount he spent on was electricity, which was bare minimum. It's like some 1,000 rupees for 2 months. And I was appalled. So there is a kind of living where if you can just spend 1,000 rupees and live happily. And I could not comprehend how this was happening. So to dump it down further for you guys, right? I think my girlfriend knows Namrata, right? And she was at Kalarasham for 20 days? Prerna.
Oh, Prerna, yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
so she was with you for 20 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was with her for 20 days, and that was the best 20 days. And ours is a 5-year long relationship. I have never seen her happier. Alright, and I've gone lengths to make it happen, but I've never seen her happier. In that 20 days, every night she would call me full of energy. Full of energy. Alright. And she's like, I did this, then we saw that, then we painted this. I think the person who painted these was where the time, yeah. So
Adya knows Prerna very well.
Yeah.
They spend very good time together.
So I think when these all was in production, I was somewhere in the background on a video call. So there was this one live that my girlfriend did when she was at Color Ashram, and it was just the three of them painting. That's it. And I've never seen my girlfriend more excited. Never in my life. Thank you. I've never seen her more excited. And that's the day I knew that, okay, if I think of a future with her, I will have to become more organic and everything. So now my house does have plastic. I'm not gonna say no, alright, but it has less number of plastics. From 5, I've gone down to 3, and so again, me and my girlfriend have these conversations on a very regular basis, and I was telling her. So she gifted me the shirt. So this is apparently reverse mud printed naturally colored dyed. I have no idea what that means. Like, trust me, I will give it to you on written paper, on stamp paper. I will tell you, I do not understand how this is made, but this just fits me beautifully. Alright, and this has this very organic and natural smell to it. Afterwards, if you guys want to smell me, you can just come off and smell me. Alright, I've taken a bath, so don't worry. So it's the shirt, you'll be smelling the shirt, not me. So it has a very beautiful smell to it. And when she gifted me the shirt, she told me one thing. She was like, if you don't like this smell, that's the end of our relationship. Alright? So thankfully, I somehow like this smell and our relationship is still going on. So when we were having this conversation, she was telling me how, so she and I have this really nihilistic approach to life. We just think there is no purpose to it. We just think just humans are just like, ants walking around in this universe, just, I don't know, just like doing things that does not make sense at all. Just like trying to find meaning in absolutely random and useless things. So we were talking about that, and she told me this one word called anthropocentric, right? Which is basically thinking that us humans are the single most important thing in this world, that everything and anything other than us is just a means to our end. And this hit me very bad, because you think about, just as he was saying, we decided on money. Alright, the idea of money was by us. So right now we're cutting down paper to make money. That's the same with your precious stones and gems. We are mining, we are literally drilling holes into the very thing that we walk on to just fuel our own idea. And when I was talking about all of this is, it just makes you understand how absolutely useless we are. How absolutely disturbing things that we are doing to the planet. Alright? And like any time my girlfriend brings up this conversation, she has to ask me one thing, which is, do you have the ability to have a conversation about all this right now? Because I go on a proper spiral after this. I will spend some whole night not sleeping, thinking about all the plastic that I've like gotten, all the plastic that I've spent. So slowly by slowly, because of my girlfriend's influence, my buying has reduced. So nowadays, when I'm deciding to buy a shirt or when I'm deciding to buy clothes, she told me, ask yourself a few questions. Number 1, do you really need it? Number 2, can this be done organically? Number 3, how long are you going to use it? And number 4, can you live without it? If the answer is positive for all these 4 questions, then fine, go forward, get it. So the last time I was in H&M, right? Which is one of the biggest, mass producers, and they are just one of those people who's like, "Acha, theek hai, I'll just kill the planet. Koi baat nahi, I'll just kill it. It's fine." Alright. And I step into H&M, and me and my girlfriend will step into it, and I haven't seen her more uncomfortable ever. She hates being around H&M. And the problem is, since I'm like a bigger size person, H&M pants are great. So I need H&M pants. So I'm like, I have to get these. I have no other way. These are the only ones that suit me. So right now I'm wearing a pair of H&M pants, which I hate myself for, obviously, and love myself because it feels great. Right? And this is a T-shirt that is that's very, it's slow fashion. It's not mass produced. There is only some 20 to 30 T-shirts that were made. So I got one of them done. So it's slow fashion. And you know that shirt, I told you a story about it. Rivers, mud, naturally dyed, multiple other adjectives which I don't understand what they are, but it just fits beautifully on me, so I just love it. And it's given by my girlfriend, man. I'll fucking flex it because it's given by my girlfriend. So that's it. You slowly change small parts of yourself. Right? You ask these questions. Can I do this naturally? Do I really need this? Can I live without it? Ask yourself these small questions when you're buying something. Something as small as, I don't know, like a toothpaste maybe. Like, I understand that toothpaste comes to you for like 2 months. Do you know that's an alternative? There is something called, toothpaste powder. We call it palpodi. Right? It comes in a tin can. So it's great. Like, my girlfriend uses it. It's great. When I was at her place, she used it. I've used it. It's beautiful. And it takes me back to the time that I was with my grandparents. My grandparents use the powder only, and it's great. It works the same thing. Basically, you just have to wash your teeth. That's it. It does that. You don't need like Max Fresh Duro Super Minty Red Color toothpaste to do that. No, you just need the white powder that Colgate gives you. Sadly, that's also mass produced, but it's alright. Some things you just have to live with. So, just small changes. So another conversation that I was having with my girlfriend was, I asked her, do you really think you can make a change as a single person? She was like, it doesn't matter. I am making the change for myself. It doesn't matter if the world changes just because of my small changes or my changes, but I am doing the changes to my own life. And then she proceeds to tell me, just imagine if 10 more people do this, 20 more people do this, hundreds, lakhs, a million. That's it. That's how you start saving your planet. And she's one person who thinks that, and I also believe it, that humans do not need to do anything to change the world. Like, humans do not need to do anything to fix the world. You just have to stop being you, and the earth will fix itself. It will just easily fix itself. You just have to stop being yourself, and that is all. And with that great advice from my girlfriend, I think I'll end my rant.
I have to say that with his performance, it was like having two people in this room right now. Prerna, I think I completely felt her presence as well. I'm so glad. She was sweetheart. Thank you so much.
We need to start making changes in the smallest way possible. I know that a lot of times it's not possible for us to go start a revolution and I'm going to march against it. No, we have lives, we have families, and we do need to take care of all those things too. But it doesn't mean we do nothing about our contributions to the earth, not the world, not the society, but to earth. And like, just let it be. Like, don't disturb it. I think that we observed even during COVID, right? In the 2 years where we didn't step out, where there was not much traffic, the world healed itself. There were a lot more, I think there definitely was a lot more greenery than there would have been otherwise, where like, building bridges and metro constructions, everything was happening. And even pollution came down by a lot. So I think let's like not disturb the planet and just like be yourself, but in your homes and don't disturb the earth.
And then currently वीकडे पे मैं ई-कॉमर्स के ग्रोथ स्ट्रैटेजीज एक्सप्लोर करता हूँ, वीकेंड पे खुद को एक्सप्लोर करता हूँ, मंथ में एक बार समुंदर या पहाड़ से मिलने जाता हूँ, महीने में जो किया उसका एक हिसाब लगाता हूँ, चिंता के लिबास को वहीं छोड़ के आता हूँ और वापस आके फिर दुनिया की भीड़ में खो जाता हूँ. सो दिस इज डिफिकल्ट. ओके, सो द पीस विच आई एम गोइंग टू रीड हियर, उससे पहले एक छोटी सी स्टोरी है. जैसे सो जब मुझे इस टॉपिक के बारे में पता चला तो आई एक्सप्लोरिंग कि ओके सो व्हाट इज दिस टॉक्सिक एवोल्यूशन, एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड विथ कि व्हाट आर द पॉल्यूटेंट्स वी हैव. So these pollutants are generally called as POPs, which is persistent organic pollutants. So basically, we as a human need fresh air, क्योंकि these fresh air contains oxygen. Oxygen हमारे blood में जाता है. Blood में oxygen dissolve होता है. It gives us purity. So it pures our mind. It pures our thoughts. But हमने पॉल्यूशन को बनाया, पॉल्यूटेंट्स को क्रिएट करा. अब पॉल्यूटेंट्स हमें क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, हमें कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं एक्चुअली. क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि जो प्योरिटी आपको माइंड को था, प्योरिटी आपके माइंड को चाहिए, वो इसलिए चाहिए क्योंकि ह्यूमन एकमात्र एक ऐसा आई विल से एनिमल है इस पूरे वर्ल्ड में जो सोच सकता है, जिसके पास इमोशन है. एंड दीज पॉल्यूटेंट्स आर कंट्रोलिंग आवर इमोशंस. मैं एक बड़ी कंपनी के लिए काम करता हूँ. फॉर मी एवरी ह्यूमन इज जस्ट अ नंबर. इवन आई एम जस्ट अ नंबर फॉर माई कंपनी. आई एम जस्ट अ मैट्रिक्स विच दे हैव टू फॉलो. सब यहाँ पर एक नंबर है. मैं जिस सोसाइटी में रहता हूँ, सो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि एनीवन नोज मी. आई एम जस्ट अ नंबर. इट्स लाइक कि 5P, अजय इज 5P. एंड एट द सेम टाइम लास्ट मंथ मैं जिस प्रोजेक्ट में काम कर रहा था, तो हमने एक बड़ी सी टीम डिजॉल्व कर दी बिकॉज द प्रोजेक्ट वॉज नॉट गोइंग. एंड देयर वर लॉट ऑफ FTCs, फिक्स टर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एम्प्लॉयज, और उन सारों को हमें हटाना था. देयर वर फ्यू एम्प्लॉयज जिन्होंने मुझे मेल करा एंड दे वर लाइक कि सर आई हैव अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम एट माई होम एंड आई रिक्वेस्टेड माई HR टू गिव अ सेकेंडरी थॉट कि हम उसको कहीं और कर सकते हैं. बट दे आर लाइक कि नहीं, वी हैव टू गो फॉर एन IPO एंड वी हैव टू बी प्रॉफिटेबल, हमें लॉस कम करना है. देन आई थॉट कि क्या सच में इमोशन है क्या कुछ वर्ल्ड में? हम सब बस एक नंबर बन के रह गए. एंड एट द सेम टाइम 2 weeks बैक, सो आई लॉस्ट माई grandmother 2 weeks back, 11th of August. एंड ऑन द सेम डे मेरी भाभी प्रेगनेंट थी. सो सी गॉट अ लेबर पेन, और मेरे घर के आधे लोग उन्हें लेकर हॉस्पिटल चले गए. सो आई एम फ्रॉम अ वेरी स्मॉल प्लेस इन नॉर्थ बिहार. 10-15,000 की पॉपुलेशन होती. नियरेस्ट हॉस्पिटल भी इट्स 50 किलोमीटर अवे फ्रॉम माई प्लेस. सो देयर वर नो वन एट माई होम. ओनली माई father was there, my sister was there, and my mother and one of my cousin was there. और मेरी दादी की डेथ उस सिचुएशन में हुई थी. एंड एज पर हिंदू रिचुअल्स वी हैव टू डू ऑल द दाह संस्कार एंड देन carry out them on the same day. So I was in my office, I got a call from my home and I suddenly called one of my friend, childhood friend who is living there. And then I was surprised, उसने कहा कि हाँ मैं तो तेरे ही घर पे हूँ. And not only me, all the people in my neighborhood was there. There were some people who had their jobs. There are some people जिनको अपनी दुकान चलानी है. They all took a day off from their daily activities, और वो सब वहीं थे. And I was on the video call and I was surprised to see कि there is no one at my home, but everything was done. सबने अपने अपने हिस्से की चीज़ें कर दी. Then I thought कि मैं इधर एक बड़ी से शहर में हूँ जहाँ इमोशंस लगभग ख़त्म हो गए. We are just a number. मैं एक छोटा सा शहर है जहाँ फैसिलिटीज़ कुछ नहीं है और वहाँ पर लोग आज भी एक दूसरे से जुड़े हुए हैं. तो क्या रीज़न हो सकता है? मैंने बहुत सोचा है. एंड देन आई थॉट कि एक बहुत बड़ा रीज़न जो है ना, वो पॉल्यूशन है. नॉट जस्ट पॉल्यूशन जो हमारे इन्वायरमेंट में, इट्स अ पॉल्यूशन जो हमारे माइंड को कंट्रोल करता है. एंड ऑन द सिमिलर लाइन आई रिटन समथिंग कि सो इट्स अ dual dialogue between this. Now I was discussing this topic with someone and then it's based on that कि अच्छा अपना तो पक्ष बहुत खूब रखा तुमने. मैं साइड पक्ष में सब अपना तो पक्ष क्या खूब रखा तुमने. हर सड़क, हर सुविधा, हर चमक की बहुत तारीफ की. लेकिन सखा कई जवाब है मेरे पास और एक सवाल भी. क्यों आंखें बंद किए तुम, क्यों आंखें बंद किए तुम, तारीफों के पुल से बनाती हो अपने इस मौन शहर पे इतना क्यों इतराती, अपने इस मौन शहर पे इतना क्यों इतराती. यहाँ हर चौराहे पर, सड़कों पर, राहों पर अकेलेपन का शोर है. यहाँ उदासी बिखरी चारों ओर है. और इसी शोर में शोर जोड़ती ये दौड़ती निर्जीव गाड़ियाँ और साथ में निर्जीव सा मानव, मानो एक कील में सबने बंद कर लिया हो जमीन और गगन, बंद बस दम भरती सांसों में कैद है एक तार से बंद गया हो कफन। अकेला दिन है और अकेली रातें, अकेला दिन है और अकेली रातें, भूल गए सब रिश्ते नाते, 7 दिनों से बनता है सप्ताह, पर जिंदगी क्यों सब वीकेंड को बिताते। डेडलाइन के डोर में बंधी तो तुम भी हो, फिर भी खुद को इंडिपेंडेंट, आवारा और आज़ाद बताती हो। प्रिय अपने इस मौन शहर पे इतना क्यों इतराती, अपने इस मौन शहर पे इतना क्यों इतराती। तुम्हें पता है सोशल मीडिया के रंगों में डूबकर हमने एक वहम पाला है, सोशल मीडिया के रंगों में डूबकर हमने एक वहम पाला है, फिल्टर्स वाली इस दुनिया के बाहर में, फिल्टर्स वाली इस दुनिया के बाहर, या यूँ कहें कि फिल्टर्स वाली ये दुनिया कितनी भी रंगीन है, पर इस वाइट डेस्कटॉप के बाहर हर और अंधेरा का काला काला, काली नदियाँ, काला धन, काली हरकत, काला मन, काली बहस, काला न्याय, काला सूरज, काले साए, काले जंगल, काली सरकार, काला शासन और काले धुएं और काले शासन के बीच ये काले दिल वाले लोग, काले धुएं और काले शासन के बीच ये काले दिल वाले लोग, काली करतूत, काली नज़र, संभवतः खाली दिल वाले लोग। राजनीति के बारूद पर सुलगती जिंदगी, यहाँ धर्म का जहरीला नारा बुलंद है, प्यार शब्द ही मानो कैदी बंद किसी अनजान तिजोरी में बंद है। हर दिन कम होता विश्वास जीवन का, हर दिन यहाँ कम होता विश्वास जीवन का, हर दिन बढ़ता यहाँ व्यापार मरण का। अब कभी सच्चाई बयां तो तुम आके दिखलाती हो, अपने इस मौन शहर पे इतना क्यों दिखलाती हो, अपने इस मौन शहर पे इतना क्यों दिखलाती हो। कि अभी कल देखा कि बड़ी धूमधाम से उत्सव मना रहे थे, कल देखा बड़ी धूमधाम से उत्सव मना रहे थे, वैसे तो यहाँ रावण हर साल जलाते हैं, फिर भी बोलो इतने रावण रोज कहाँ से आते हैं। झूठ हर रोज जीतता यहाँ सत्यता खलती है, चाहत शांति की है सबकी, पर मन में शत्रुता पलती है। कोई दौलत के मोह में घिरा है तो कहीं करप्शन ने बीन बजाई, कोई क्रोध में जलता कहीं तो कहीं स्वार्थ की बदली छाई। मानव मन ही पल पल यहाँ अंतः स्वयं सेल्फ, मानो मन पल पल यहाँ अंतः स्वयं से लड़ता है, प्राण समूह की रक्षा को वो पल पल ही वो डरता है। एंड दिस लाइन द नेक्स्ट दैट आई रिटन इज, आई डोंट नो कि ये लिखने के बाद मुझे बहुत 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 सोचा मैंने कि मानो मन ही पल पल यहाँ अंतः स्वयं से लड़ता है, प्राण समूह की रक्षा को वो हर पल यहाँ डरता है। डरती तो तुम भी होगी, डरती तो तुम भी होगी जिन्हें तुम अपना बतलाती हो, डरती तो तुम भी होगी जिन्हें तुम अपना बतलाती हो। इसलिए अपने इस मौन से इतना क्यों बतलाती, अपने इस मौन से।
And we shouldn't believe it or damage it. But I think, I mean, you have to also realize that it's a very selfish goal we have. Like, the earth is fine, the earth will be fine. If we pollute it to a level where it's inhabitable for us, we're the ones who are gone. Like, there have been civilizations that have come and gone, and even the animals right now, you know, like, life will find a way. It's not like what we're doing is going to, like, it's ultimately affecting us. So, I think even like mentally, when you think of saving the earth, you should really think about saving yourself and doing the bare minimum to keep yourself there. Not, you know, it's not something that needs saving as such. You're the one who's trying to protect yourself. You know, like when you're talking about polluting rivers, it's your food source that you're polluting. You're the one who's going to be drinking the water. You're talking about cutting trees. You know, you're the one who needs that oxygen. It's not. The earth as a whole will be fine. Like, we're the ones who are fucked. So, I think, yeah, there's some emphasis to be put on that because we all have this like grand idea of, you know, like we're protecting the earth. But yeah, I think we're just protecting ourselves. So that's one small note, which might be a little bit of a damper though, like to end on. But yeah.
from you. And the thought that creates and makes us soar and elevate is a thought that takes us down and destroys us. So I think thought can be used both sides. Someone, my co-founder, thought about natural colors and he went ahead and said, industry is where I need to go with this. Thought is where we are buying H&M and we are polluting and whatever. Don't record this, I don't want to take names, but yeah, so thought is, I think it's two sides of the same coin, isn't it? And it's definitely, as Mayank and you and everyone said, it's very powerful. I'm really glad for the depth that you went into, and you went into to